In my youth, I was taught many things by my parents. Of primary importance was that I am a child of God, that He loves me. Perhaps of secondary importance is that I can talk to my Heavenly Father via prayer. He always listens and sometimes answers. As a child, we sometimes ask for it to snow in July, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Nevada, or for a pony at Christmas while living in the city. As adults, we understand the reasons prayers like these are usually not answered in the way a child would like. As we mature, we are taught the power of prayer increases in efficacy through obedience, faith, and humility. Children are prime examples of at least two of these. As adults, somehow we intuit that we should not waste prayer on trivial things. We need to save its power for things we feel are important to God, like helping a sick person, or some other righteous endeavor, like feeding the Spirit in sacrament meeting. The natural man feels there is a limited amount of power available, and he must not waste it. It seems hard for us to comprehend that the more prayer power we use, the more we have and the stronger it gets. It just doesn't seem to make sense if we reason with worldly knowledge. The scriptures teach us that we should pray constantly. Why would God direct us to use up our limited prayer power? We should pray over our fields. We should pray for faith, for humility, for knowledge. Yes, those prayers we cast out desperately in school are okay. We should pray for our health as well as the health and welfare of others. Okay, no more scripture prayer lessons. I use prayer a lot in my life, and guess what? Some of the things I pray for are not very important in the grand scheme of things, and some are. When I was about 13 years old, I was very interested in cars, almost all types. Also motors, carburetors, spark plugs, starters, generators, shock absorbers. You get it. I tried to be present whenever Dad worked on our cars. I was always eager to help by handing him tools, parts, and glasses of water. I watched him so much I was sure I'd become proficient fixing cars. In those days, cars had carburetors, and the fuel filter was attached to the body of the carburetor instead of in line like they became later. Now they're in the tank. The filter was found under a plug that you took off with a wrench. It looked sort of like a cork and had a spring behind it that was easy to lose after you removed the cover or plug. Well, Dad had bought a new fuel filter with the truck we bought from Grandma Whitney, and I went with him to the parts store. On the way home, I volunteered to replace the filter as I had seen him do a few times. He talked to me a little to see if I really had the concept, and then he said I could try it. He cautioned me about the spring jumping out as I removed the filter, mentioned that if I lost the spring, it was not a part you could just go and buy at the auto parts store. He then asked me if I could carefully replace the fuel filter without losing the errant little spring. Of course, I told him I could. When we got home, we went in the house and went to get my needed tools to work on the truck parked out in the street in front of the house. I carefully removed the plug or cap that the fuel filter and spring were behind. I thought I was ready to catch the spring if it tried to escape, as Dad had warned. As the filter came out, the spring sprung out and away out of my grasp. Well, gravity was at work, and I felt I could easily locate the thin little spring on the street under the truck. I searched in vain for quite a while. Then I went and got a flashlight to shine horizontally on the street to assist in the search. Still no luck. Well, I guessed it had fallen into the grass, which grew along the parkway next to the street. As I looked between each blade of grass, I thought about how much more comfortable it was to lie on the grass instead of the asphalt street. I finally gave up the search. I went into the house, into my bedroom, and poured my heart out to the Lord in a fervent prayer regarding Aaron's. Dad had warned me, and I let him down. He seemed almost prescient about the future of my fuel filter experience. Well, I had received miraculous answers to prayers in the past, that it was important to me not to let down my earthly father. So I went back last night and decided to look one more time under the truck. As I grabbed the C-frame of the truck to swing back down onto the pavement, I caught a quick glint of spring steel out of the corner of my eye. Right, right there was the spring. It had not made it to the ground. It bounced right out of sight into the frame of the truck. Now, was anybody healed? No. Was it important to the world? No. I had a discussion with my oldest sister Joy about important things. She stated, Heavenly Father loves you. If it's important to you, it's important to Him. That is so true.